Hi, good morning, everybody. Afternoon or even evening. Very welcome to this live event today. Unfortunately, really sorry that the SPS show has been cancelled, and we needed to try to create an alternative. And on this very short notice, we just tried to create a very short event to give you some highlights of what we have intention to tell you and to show you and to get in contact to you. Myself, I'm Rick de Vries. I'm a role of sales director in the Middle Europe region, DACH and Benelux, and trying to host and guide the today event on that sense. So what we're trying to do this 1.5 hours is give you a little bit of the highlights of the SPS show. We will navigate through some questions later on in the process. So if you have anything, just paste it into the live chat. And also for your attention, we have some technical experts waiting for you to have a live chat during the session or after the session. And of course, after the session, all the data will be available and we can share more within a face-to-face or hopefully soon, but otherwise in a digital conference call for that. So please do share your questions and openly to us. We will get through that. So I'll give you a little bit of the agenda for today. Sustainable automation by Jim and Marco. Advantech ESG report and process by Jill Chen. To give you a little bit of highlight, what is Advantech doing? What are we in, and where are we moving forward into to be more green and to be in a green environment of that sense. And then we have some partners, Brain Creator, who gives us a little bit an insight of AI and the digital cloning behind the human experts to help them on that sense. And Ambient Technologies with Nicholas Thompson give you a very good insight how plug-and-play sensor technology can work today and how to connect to our WisePass platform and solutions around that. So that will be all live. So if anything popped up during the event, we will try to recover on that sense. I hope you understand our situation. And then, of course, I want to give you one last thing is that in our process of, on the end, we had the intention to do it live, of course, in the SPS show, but now we're going for digital version. We will have a survey, and during our survey processes, we're trying to encourage to give us as much as possible the right information. But what we're going to do with that is we're going to plant a tree based on the people who placed and give us the survey information. So that is what Advantech is going to do in the coming period of time, to plant trees around the globe. It will be with certificates, so if you can do it anonymous, but if you want give your name, we can give you information about where it has been planted, how it's going to be, and to give you a good idea of how we start to working on sustainability and creating something for the market together. So for now, I want to give the wording to Jim and Marco to give you a good insight of our SPS show during the session.
Thank you, Rick, and good morning, everyone. Nice to do it this way. And of course, unfortunately, we cannot meet you at the SPS show like in the previous year, where we had very good discussions with our partners and our customers about technology, Advantech, the trends in the marketplace. My name is Jim ten Broeke, and I'm the business development manager in Europe for Smart Industry. And I'm here together with my dear colleague, Marco.
Thanks, Jim, and good morning, everyone. Nice to have this short talk together, and we want to provide you some highlight. So we are not able to meet face to face, but we want to show you what we have prepared for you.
And what we did was preparing in a very short time. When the momentum, we learned that we could go to the SPS show. We assembled a team in Advantech, and we worked quite hard to bring 4 exciting topics to you in a very nice setting, and especially the sustainability theme, which is all over the SPS show, was coming back in our booth. So we had a lot of topics related to sustainability. And after this presentation, Advantech headquarter, Jill, will do a presentation about that. But going into the 4 topics, Marco.
Yeah, so this is just the other side of the booth. Today we will try to make you aware about all the presentation. Unluckily, about the food and beers, we are not able to share with you, but let's keep it cold for the next year. But I believe, Jim, right now it is the time to start discussing about the 4 big topics that we were developing.
Yeah,
so
let's start with food and beverage. Yes. Food and beverage is one of our main vertical markets for Advantech. Did you know that it's the largest manufacturing sector in Europe, covering 1.2 billion turnover, and it's a workplace for 4.8 million people in Europe. In Europe, there are 291,000 companies focused on food and beverage, or tier 1, tier 2 for food and beverage. Advantech has a dedicated line of products for harsh environment. It's mainly based on IP69K products. And if you look to the real processing part, we have products like SPS, the Uno, and the Eki series. Food and beverage, as said, one of our main vertical markets, and everyone directly thinks about the harsh environment products. But we are much more focused now on the challenges in this particular marketplace. And if you look to those challenges today, of course, it's still going on food safety by European law, where there are a lot of challenges to meet all the regulations. Did you know that there are 223 food safety standards? And to apply all those legislations, Advantech and our partners are helping the customer by having solutions, out-of-the-box solutions, and of course products and all kinds of technologies to help them to address this. The other thing is profit and margin. Under high pressure due to COVID-19, think about workers which are not able to go to the manufacturing sites anymore, and of course raw materials. Now we all know what's going on right now. And the third one is, of course, the consumer, much more demanding. Prices are under high pressure, global competition, and of course, everything related to sustainability. Marco, can you explain a little bit more about the products behind it?
Yeah, during the video, thanks, Jim. During the video, we were looking to all the products that are fitting in this market. But I will just stop by 1 second about this product, the SPC 515, because it is the perfect example how Advantech is bringing the knowledge over the standard products, we are the market leader over there, in the specific requirement of a vertical market. As you can see, for example, this product is able to have IP69K because the hygienic design is really important in the food and beverage. Second, we have a protective film to avoid any glass to drop into the production, because again, glass cannot be detected by during the production. So it is much more than just stainless steel product. And this is the way we are applying our knowledge on the standard product in a vertical market. But right now, I believe it is time to switch to the second topic. Second topic is about communication. So when we are speaking about 5G, the aim of SPS was to introduce, to bring to the audience the innovation. Advantech is ready in 5G because 5G is the next generation of the wireless technology. And as you can see in this video, we already have a router capable of doing this activity. Not only, 5G must be enabled also in edge computing. That's why we have an x86 platform, Uno, and a RIX platform, Eco. Everything is ready with 5G technology. But when we are speaking about 5G, we are just mentioning one key technology. We are not focusing only on this, we are focusing on a wide portfolio. TSN is another important technology that we need to adopt in order to have real-time behavior. That's why you have AKI 8510. And speaking about 5G, I believe it is important to understand why we decided to have 5G and communication as a hot topic. We are speaking about industrial IoT. Boom, the data generation is booming. It is important to have a bandwidth because we need to bring all these products on all the levels we need. We need low latency because, as we were discussing, it is important to have real-time behavior and high capacity because compared to the past, all the components from the sensor to the gateway are able to generate a massive amount of data. So we are able to give all of them the democracy to bring the communication.
Due to that low latency, a lot of companies are very interested in what 5G can bring for them into their manufacturing site. In fact, Advantech is also collaborating with the GSMA, the global organization to promote 5G. And there are a lot of proof of concepts going on in manufacturing sites, including partners, the global telco partners.
And this is the router we were looking before. The main point that I want to underline is that we are always enhancing our product. And this is not only a router, but it is an edge computing gateway that is able to run Docker container. But Rick, when we are speaking about 5G and TSN, I believe we are speaking about future technology. What about today? What we can offer?
Yeah, it's important to understand that 5G, we are doing a lot of testing right now, but it's not ready yet. It will take another 2 years at least to bring the full functionality of 5G into our world. And of course, it will start on the commercial world with your mobile, but really to address the industrial applications, that will take time. Please don't forget that we have an extensive number of technologies in our portfolio, and Advantech is quite large with our products and solutions, including our partner network, to bring the right technology to the right application. So please don't forget the other networks which are out there and which are ready to go.
And you know, Jim, this reminds me a point. We have an expert that is Yuan Li. He is online with us, and during the Q&A, he will be in our virtual booth, and he will speak one-to-one with you. Because I believe the technologies are various. We are able to cover all of them, but it is really important to discuss one-to-one about what your project is looking for.
Absolutely right. Maybe we can go to the next topic, the next video.
Cool. So if I move fast to adjust the audio, yeah, you can go.
Yeah, edge computing, that will be one of the core technologies in Advantech. As you should know, that we are increasing the number of platforms in Advantech. Edge will be for the upcoming years a really important technology. Did you know that by 2024, edge computing and storage will grow 18.9% year over year over the next 5 years to reach $33.3 billion? Advantech is coming out with multiple new products addressing all kinds of layers in the edge technology, like the AMAX 5000 series, ECI 2000 series, UNO, TPC, and MIC. Edge computing is really developing fast. In the past years, people learned what to do with cloud computing, where the value is, and what could be done on edge level. Also, hybrid cloud is coming up, and of course, AI is pushing the edge. We see a lot of developments around edge, and here also the global market research bureaus are coming out with all kinds of reports, like Gartner, Frost & Sullivan's, IoT One, explaining how the cloud and how the edge is developing, and how we can layer the edge level. Advantech, of course, is addressing our industrial part of the whole edge layers. Another technology that's virtualization. This is also recognized by Intel. Intel sees when they look into the future, the factory of the future, a strong development for virtualization. This means that all kind of core processors and their controllers are virtualized in strong edge computers running multiple controllers at the same time. Marco, can you explain a little bit more about the products behind this?
Let me say, Jim, I want to add just one point before switching to the next slide. Having Intel as a golden pattern, we are always running the latest platform of Intel. This means that the virtualization is not something that will happen in the future, in a far away future. It is something that you can already start in 22 without any problem with the technology that Intel is enabling. But speaking about the edge, I really love this sentence, power to the edge. Advantech is a market leader here. And speaking about the edge, everyone has a different meaning of edge. Edge can be a controller for real time, a soft PLC, can be an HMI, a complex HMI, not only visualization, computing, edge AI, or connectivity. All of them are important topics, and all of them are widely covered with Advantech. So again, during the Q&A, just connect to the virtual booth to discuss deeply with myself and with Ken, who is another guest, who will be a specialist to discuss your needs. And
this is really something we see in the marketplace, that customers are looking for flexible systems. Even for the same applications, we see that the customer is choosing their own platform based on, of course, processing power, I/O, rich I/O, and the flexibility to adapt the platform for their specific needs. And this is what we see in the marketplace.
Yeah, and Jim, I want just to underline a pillar of the design of the product of Advantech. The first one is about the modularity. We gave up a few years ago to develop a product with all the interfaces, and we prefer to have a single layer, and then when what is needed can simply be added with a second layer. Second point, quite important, no matter if it is shelter mounted or in a DIN rail cabinet, everything, all the products that we are designing are always fitting with space. Try to optimize the space. So you always have a pocket size, a small size of a regular size, depending on the performance and depending by the interface needed. And last but not least, Jim, we need to discuss about really a booming topic in the automation world. And here we are speaking about AI. Okay, I don't know why there is no sound. So I will just comment without any music. This is a booming trend in the market. But as you can see from the picture, this is just an example, MSC 7700 is able to provide modularity and flexibility over the AI. So a booming topic, a booming technology that is simply using what we are having. So as you can see, flexibility over the door, flexibility over the expansion. We are bringing our knowledge to the AI. Jim?
In the past years, the MIC platform grew tremendously. And especially when people start testing, they want to have a very powerful but also flexible system. And this is where the MIC fits in quite well. This is also explaining the popularity of the MIC series. This is also the reason why we are expanding the series for every level for AI.
But Jim, speaking about AI, everyone is using AI, machine learning, deep learning. Can you tell us a little bit more? Just about conclusion.
Good question, Marco, because there are a lot of words and trends and explanations going on. But simply, if you look to Wikipedia, it's about intelligence applied to data. And for me, it starts with streaming analytics, where we are looking into streaming data, and we apply models on top of that to do smart things and make conclusion out of that data. There are multiple facets. We also have, of course, the training system, machine learning, where we are looking to algorithms. They are performing, and the performance increases due to the learning model we applied. Then on top of that, we have deep learning, which is part of machine learning, where layered neural networks learn from large amounts of data. But Marco, more important, what are the platforms behind it? Can you explain a little bit about that?
So I want to introduce a technology partner. We are strongly co-work with NVIDIA, not only about the training system, so where we need high GPU computing, but also when we are going to the field, because AI is mainly divided by training system and inference system. So the system that will use the model created by the training and will apply it to the stream of data that is coming from the field. And as you can see, we are going from the GPU computing, high level, to the still GPU computing, but really harsh for exactly done for being in the edge, close to where the data are generated. So NVIDIA is a strong partner as well as the other partners that later we will speak. And Jim, what about the field of application of AI?
Yeah, we see the starting point in smart city. We see those applications coming more and more to machine builders and manufacturing sites. So we see technologies we invented for a while ago, like people behavior detection, face recognition, automated number plate recognition. We see that coming more and more into the industry, into manufacturing. And of course, this is also requiring multiple versions of our AI platforms. And this is also why we developed the MIC series, and we are coming out with all kinds of variants of this particular series.
Indeed, Jim, you are completely right. And speaking about the four big parts, the four technology we wanted to discuss with you, I believe this is just an intro. So again, you are more than welcome to discuss in deeply with us just after. But our presentation now is over. So Jim, who is next?
Yeah, of course. First, I would like to focus out our partners. We have two partners also doing an in-depth presentation after the next speaker, and that's Jill from headquarter talking about ESG. Thank you for now from my side, and up to you, Jill.
Thanks a lot.
Hi, good morning. Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Jill from Advantech ESG office, and I'm very happy to be here to share with you our ESG strategies and practices. Our mission. Advantech's ESG mission is enabling an intelligent and sustainable planet, and we target to fulfill this through three dimensions: green operations, community enrichment, and AIoT popularization. And since we made this mission, we have done something. For example, this year we got SBTI certification, and because we hope to be included in the Dow Jones Sustainability Index (DJSI) in 2025, we started to answer the DJSI survey this year, and we have made plans to improve our scores year by year. Advantech's ESG is led by the top management, including the chairman of Advantech and the president of general management and other top managers. And the virtual team of ESG is composed of human resources, employee relations, energy saving team, and other departments. We work together to cover all ESG related projects. Each year, we communicate with our stakeholders through various channels like formal and informal meetings, online or offline events, surveys, etc. And among all the stakeholders, we found that customers and investors are the two stakeholders who care our ESG the most. Here I listed some customers and investors who have contacted us and wanted to know our progress about climate change strategies, our human capital development programs, and so on. And so, according to
Hey,
our
Jill, sorry to
yes,
interrupt you, but I think we have a small technical issue. You don't present the presentation, but yourself, and I think maybe switch over to the other display. Something went wrong,
oh,
I
okay.
guess.
So you don't. Oh,
No,
sorry, you don't
no
see my
problem at all. No
presentation.
problem. This is live, and this is
Okay.
how it works. But
So can you see my screen now?
no.
How about now?
Yes, 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 yes. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
I'm very
No,
sorry.
continue where you were. No problem at all. Thanks.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you for understanding. Okay, this is our mission, and this is our organization I just mentioned, and this is the stakeholders engagement, and these are the customers and investors who have contacted us. So, based on our communication with our stakeholders and also the impact analysis, we came up with our 10 major material issues, and we make sure our materiality answers to the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. And we also specify each materiality's management approach, current progress, and short-term and long-term goals. And if you want to know more about our materiality, please check our CSR report. The CSR report is verified by SGS with AA1000 AS Type 2 high assurance, which means this report's content is reliable. So you can scan the QR code and take a look of our CSR report. And maybe many of you already know that Advantech's product and solutions are applied in many fields and many regions, but maybe you don't know that many of our products are already used for sustainable purposes like water treatment, solar or wind power management, and energy storage, vertical farming, and telehealth. And in 2020, the product we used for sustainable purposes already account for more than 15% of our total revenue. And we hope to increase this percentage year by year. And we also put up all the stories on our CSR website, our new website, and also the My Advantech magazine Sustainability Special Edition. Here are some examples of our sustainable solutions. From the left-hand side is the smart agriculture application in Spain, which could help to reduce food waste. The middle is Advantech Japan utilizes AIoT solutions to for flood management and to prevent workers from dangerous working environment. And the right-hand side is the plastic bottle recycling monitoring application in the Netherlands. So about our environmental commitment, this year we committed to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions, and our commitment is certified by SBTi, Science-Based Targets Initiatives. We commit to reduce 60% scope 1 and 2 emissions per million dollars revenue, and 49% scope 3 emissions per million dollars revenue in 2030 compared to 2019. Scope 3 emission is mainly composed of the products we sold to our customers and when the customers use the products. So now we are promoting eco-design at headquarters, and we hope to make more energy efficient products for our customers. And regarding to the scope 2 emission, we manage our energy consumption. through our own platform energy management system. And we also signed an agreement to invest in the solar power plant building, and we will start to purchase renewable energy in 2023. As to our social engagement, we focus on education. And for the last 3 years, we hosted AIoT InnoWorks in 8 countries, 66 universities. We sponsor students to use our free software and IoT platform to make innovative applications to answer the SDGs. And we do see students' creativity in many fields like farming and agriculture and campus security, and in many fields. And not only at headquarters, but actually in many Advantech worldwide offices, people are doing CSR projects. For example, our contribution during the pandemic in the United States and the Diversity Day celebration in the Europe, Advantech Europe. So the next step, as I mentioned before, our mission is to enable an intelligent and sustainable planet, and we will focus on renewable energy, sustainable education, and telehealth. And regarding to our environmental milestone, this year we have received SBTi certification, as I said, and next year we will follow TCFD, Task Force on Climate-Related Financial Disclosure Framework. And we hope to be included in the DJSI and CDP A list in 2025. And our renewable energy target is 50% in 2026 and 100% in 2032 in Taiwan. So lastly, I'd like to invite all of you to fill out our stakeholders' opinion survey. We will donate €1 to each per each survey we receive to plant trees. So please fill out the survey and let's together make a better company to the society and the environment, and let's plant trees together. Thank you. That's my presentation.
Thank you very much, Dio. Really, really interesting to see our movement forward. And of course, we challenge everybody to work with us together to get into that real sustainable world and make beautiful products around the technology what we need. So thanks for that. And again, really proud to see what is Advantech doing. And this is also the thing we wanted to do, to bring into the SPS show. We as a manufacturer, we want to be also not only on innovation part of the technology, being a leader, but now also in the sustainable processes around us and bringing it together to you, to the world. So let's work together on that. But of course, we cannot do that alone. We need a lot of partners around us to bring the technology up to speed, to bring solutions around us that we can speed up the processes and be even more sustainable and more, let's say, direct into the market share. So therefore, I want to give Brain Creator the wording on that and, give them an insight what they have created it. And, simplicity is the world where we are living in today. And so, Glenn, please go ahead and...
Thank you, Rick. So my name is Glenn Brouwer, and what I want to talk about today is our team is that there's a digital clone behind every human expert. This is a team that actually existed when you in 2020 at Davos at the World Economical Forum, where our political leaders were looking at what's happening in the market, how we can accelerate digital, but also look at the scarcity of skilled labor. And they predicted that by 2030, there were 85 million jobs available. And it's not because there are no workers, but because they lack skilled workers. So this is a team in terms of scarcity. They call it closing the skill gap. And what we do at Brain Creators is basically trying to kind of resolve that. So Brain Creators as a company, we are a startup, a scale-up in Amsterdam, and we try to accelerate businesses through our digital inspectors. And these digital inspectors I'm going to talk about today, to how we combine domain expertise with deep technology, like artificial intelligence on edge, obviously, and how we bring that to market. And our premise is that everything a human inspector can discern, a digital inspector can learn. And that's kind of what we try to do in order to close that skill gap in the market. If you think about the challenge about human inspection, every human inspector, they perceive, they decide, and then they respond. They do inspections on surfaces, on objects, on spaces, and they do that across every industry. But people, they cannot be cloned, obviously. They aren't available 24/7. It requires years of experience before they become an expert, and eventually they leave the company. So thinking about closing that skill gap, how do we now upskill, reskill, and preserve our human capital? And if you think about manual inspections, they can become costly and labor intensive as well. And we have seen with the pandemic that the businesses are sometimes stopped if they need to work remotely or they cannot work in a physical world. So how do you become digital, and how can you intelligently automate your business process? And this is where we introduced our concept of digital inspectors, where we automate visual human tasks and especially the bulk work. So the human becomes the supervisor or the coach of the digital inspector, but the digital inspector, the technology takes away the boring work. They can be performed 24/7. They don't get tired. They can do things faster and often also more reliable or more consistent in terms of doing inspections. And I will talk about that a little bit more in a minute when I show the examples that we have today. So our digital inspectors, they run on cloud services, on edge, or in embedded solutions. And therefore, we partner with technology companies like Advantech, but also NVIDIA, and, for example, Bosch Building and Energy Solutions, where we are part of their surveilling cameras that they are managing in the control rooms. But everything our digital inspectors do is surrounding surface, objects, people, or spaces. And the two digital inspectors that we have brought to market this year are a digital road inspector and a digital crowd inspector. So let me show you and tell you a little bit about the digital road inspector. So we collaborated with a company called Unihorn. They are part of the Structon Group, and they have the domain knowledge about road inspection. And this is a service inspection functionality that we do. And what you see here is that that a car is going to record a road, so video footage need to be inspected. And typically, what happened is that a human inspector is going to look at that footage, and then every 3 meters they stop the video and they see, is there a pothole, is there a crack? So they look for anomalies, and it takes them 6 weeks and for a highway and 6 months for a municipality to kind of inspect. So if you give this to a digital inspector, and this is what we've done the knowledge transfer from the road inspector to the digital inspector. Now they can create a project, they can upload the video data, the inspection will be done by the digital inspection, and then it's going to be delivered to the human in the loop to verify the outcomes. And this is really crucial because the human still remains the supervisor before it releases it to the end client. So as an example, and this is just an example to show in terms of what we can do once it's inspected, it can come with any type of dashboard. So whether it's in the machinery or food and beverage, like Jim and Marco were telling about, but this is surface in terms of roads. So we've mapped it to the local regulation about road conditions. Like, do we need to act immediately? Do we need to do direct maintenance? Is there short-term maintenance? And we have reflected this to local regulations like CROW in the Netherlands it could be bus in Germany, it could be the highway pavement management system in the US or in the UK, and so on. So what we have done is not only provided this in interactive reports that can be downloaded and then can be browsed on maintenance type or road type, but we also plotted it on a digital map. And this is kind of the secret sauce, that the outcomes now can be inspected on a map, and you can basically zoom into the map. And then once you zoom in, you can say, okay, I only want to see the medium or direct maintenance. You see the damage classifications that has been defined, the taxonomy that has been defined by road inspection company, which says, okay, I need to look at these defects on the site. But you can do this in any industry on any type of defect. But here you can see then the image that has been inspected, the coordinates, and if you unfold it, you can even see the plotting to the regulation. So you can see the art of the possible that is happening here in terms of what a digital inspector potentially could do. Another example of a digital inspector is what we have done on an edge device as a pre-packaged edge solution ready package for an airport, where they came to us to say, okay, Glenn, we can give you footage, but we cannot do the scans due to the pandemic. We need to take care of our costs. Can you use the surveillance cameras? And we said, sure, we can do that. Give us the footage. But then they said, well, hang on, the privacy officer is saying we cannot do that because GDPR regulations in Europe. So what we have done is we have built a digital inspector that can detect automatically humans instead of assets, but it might have well have been assets. And then we anonymize automatically the humans in the picture, such that the privacy officer can release that footage to asset management to kind of do support or do analysis and use that footage then to develop another digital inspector or something that they want to use. And this is something we pre-packaged and we developed together with Advantech. And this can be on any of those devices that Jim and Marco have seen, whether it's a Jetson, whether it's a MiG. This is where we make it available. So coming back in terms of what we do is we have a technology stack. We call it Brain Matter. There we collaborate with domain partners in the market that provide or come to us with a use case like road inspection, or they want to inspect steel plates, or they want to inspect production of floors. They have the know-how. They can come with the examples. That is a prerequisite that we need as a tech company. Then we use our platform to automate that and generate a digital inspector. And that is the first part. So we can do this for our domain partners, but then we can also say, hey, now we have this inspector. Do we want to put this into the market? And do we want to put this into the market as a branded software product? And then you get like solutions that we have now, like Inspect that I just showed, or ARA for the automated recognition and anonymization. You get a finished product that only needs visual data, and then it can output detections, anomalies. You can visualize it in a dashboard or an interactive report, or you can do it on a digital map in some use cases. That is kind of what we do. So we are looking with our business model, and I call it a business to business to model, because the first B2B is with domain partners. We are building these digital inspectors with combining the domain knowledge of these domain experts with technology, and then intelligently automate inspection task, visual inspection task, such that our domain partners can do things faster, have a higher ROI. But ultimately, they can give that digital inspector and push it out into the market to the end users, such that they get faster inspection reports, they get more consistent reports, we accelerate speed, and against lower costs, obviously. So this is something that we can do. And then if we put it jointly in the market, we also have the opportunity with our domain partners to look at the rev share model. And we call that a franchise partner fee, such that if we put it out in the market, there's a royalty fee going back to the partner who we developed it with. So these are business models that we are willing to discuss with our partners when we go into the market. And we have partners like Unihorn for road inspection. We have Van Deursen Group in the retail. We are working with municipalities. We have end clients at the same time as well. But this is kind of what we are doing and what we are about to do. We have over 80 clients where we have done engagements with, but we are now really started to focus as a product company to see how can we embed this in edge technology. How can we combine this in solutions that we can put a digital inspector as an edge solution into the market? And we are seeking at the moment for these domain partnerships. So we have 4 partnerships on the go where we are developing these with. We are ourselves together with Advantech looking at use cases that we can put into life to expand within infrastructure, for example, solutions towards smarter city solutions. But in the industrial space, we are looking with some machine builders to see how what we can automate in their business process as well. But we are open in 2022 to look for additional domain partners where we can explore how we can automate some functional tasks and transfer their knowledge to our digital partners and see how we can expand our ecosystem. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. If there are any questions, then please feel free to come to us at the end of the session in the Q&A. And I wish you a nice webinar.
Thank you very much, Glenn. Really, really interesting to see the journey of AI and in practice how we start using it. And definitely Breda is getting a better road by all the inspection information. I feel it not every day anymore. I don't go so often anymore to the office, but Breda is our office hometown for the Netherlands offices. So thanks for sharing that. Let me get back to let's say go to the next element, ambient technology. Nicholas is going to give you a little bit of an insight, because who has started learning to work in a plug and play environment years ago when we had an operating system and plug in a keyboard, and it was difficult and we need to reinstall everything. And you know, the journey in automation is still there. We have always challenges to connect sensors, to bring the data platforms into an value that we can really use into the automation area. So what Nicholas wants to give you an insight of the digital and analog sensor connection on the fly, and how that can work and how easily the value you can create out of that. So Nicholas, please share your knowledge and solutions on that.
Yes, thank you very much, Rick. So my name is Niklas Kvarnström, and I've heard that Rick mispronounced the company name twice. It's Ambient Technomancy, not technology.
Oh, yeah, sorry, you're right.
No problem, but you can see it on the screen. So during the last 10 years, I have been traveling around Europe and the States and the Nordics, and done a lot of talks in boardrooms, exhibitions, etc. And of course visited a lot of factories. And having that experience, I quickly came to the conclusion that there are some things that need to be redone or reshaped in order to reach out to the industries. Perhaps many of you have heard about OT and IT convergence, and when you look at SME companies, small and medium-sized enterprises, they all have tried to digitalize their factories, but there are a lot of hurdles on the way, and they hardly know where to start. So then I created Atosis, Ambient Technomancy Open Sensor Integration Service, with Advantech and OEM Automatic as partners, in order to then quickly show true value. Because normally this is a proof of concept or proof of value, and it can take up to 2 months, and it's very expensive, and you don't even know if you are actually using the right sensor for your purpose, and you haven't tried many sensors doing the same thing in order to find the best one for your use case. And this is very important today, because everyone is talking about artificial intelligence, machine learning, and all of these surrounding technologies stored in data lakes, etc. But it all starts with the data you get from the sensor. So it's extremely important that you get the best possible data already at the edge, meaning close to the machine and the sensor. So the first part is to show true value quickly. Then normally it goes over to an R&D phase where the factory itself brings in their know-how, often decades or centuries of knowledge that they then pour into this R&D phase with the technology, aiming for their own digital horizon then. So what this is all about is to connect digital or analog sensors on the fly. And if we look at how this is built up in a very simple way, since I have a limited time, only 15 minutes. Normally this is a 2 to 8 hour session. We will just see how this is built up. You have digital sensors and you have analog sensors. These sensors need to be connected to, in one way, an IO-Link master or a device that takes care of the analog signal. So Advantech is a huge partner here because they have hardware and the experience since long ago and are globally reaching factories, and the know-how is extremely important to combine with these technologies that I work with in ambient technology. The Adam device that you see there is an example of that. And for example, for those of you who know some terminology within the industrial environment, they have modules to connect to 200 PLCs. So that's extremely important for ambient technology. Once that data reaches those masters, you send that data to an edge device. In this case, a UNO gateway, also from Advantech. That gateway can be connected to PLCs, etc., but normally also to a backend, sending that data to a front end. But it's important here to understand that the industries, the factories, they don't care about any of this. The only thing they care about is what sensor do we need to use in order to quickly see data. And they want to see data in real time, but also combined with machine learning, reports, warnings, etc., of a more advanced type. We will look into that. So if we look at a factory, there are a lot of different layers. We have the machines, where milliseconds is of importance. The machine might break down very quickly unless you take care of a warning. And then you go up to the PLC, to the MES, and to the ERP. I won't deep dive into the how all of this is built up, but there are different layers here. And in order to show true value for an industry, you need to connect all of them. And Advantech have many hardware products suitable for this. So if we look at it a little deeper, let's start with a digital sensor. Normally, this is today using an IO-Link protocol, communications protocol. So normally this is a 20-meter cable going to this master, then sending it to the edge device I described earlier. Then, of course, you can send it to cloud and display it the way you want to. But you can also have an analog sensor and convert it to a digital sensor so that you can use the same master. It's totally possible. Or you go pure analog, and then you have the Adam device from Advantech, and that one connects to the gateway. At the bottom, you see a typical box that we build, where you have all these devices. You have the analog receivers, these Adam devices, and you have the IO-Link masters, and even a screen, because as we will see, this can be run offline. So you can have it at the machine just to see instant real-time values. So the big idea here is that you don't have to care. Whatever kind of sensor you want to use, it's possible. Is it a digital or an analog sensor? Do you want to connect it to your own factory environment a PLC, for example, or as we saw on the earlier slide, up to the MES or even to the ERP, totally fine. And as I mentioned earlier, it can be run totally offline. But in order to show the data as good as possible, you need a front end. Hence, we have integrated Atosis, the software on the gateway, with Advantech's backend. And there it's called WisePass. And the data sent from the gateway is sent to what's called the WisePass data hub, and then visually represented in WisePass dashboard. The screen samples here are not those, but we will look at it shortly. These are other examples how you can look at it at the edge on the screen without internet connectivity. And here you have how WisePass can look when you have configured the gateway. I'm quickly going to jump into a real case at the factory owned by Hasselbohr. They create foam glass, totally circular or almost 99.8%, meaning that all glass in Sweden, be it from windows, jars, beer cans or beer bottles, whatever, all glass come to this factory. There they create what you see in the background, the foam glass, like small, almost cubical shapes. And that material is then used as a foundation when you, for example, build a bridge or want to build a house and all of that. But the challenge for them was that you see the oven here. It's of course extremely hot. There is a lot of particles in the air, and they wanted to have a real-time measurement of the volume of that cake that comes out from the oven. So we created that, and here you have an example of how that can look. And but the more important part here is that I mentioned there is a huge value in seeing things real time. But once we started to send a report every morning, that became the most crucial thing for them, because every day at 6:02 in the morning, they look at this report and go through what's actually happened the day before or the week, etc. So this is simulated data, and unfortunately in Swedish, but I would just quickly say that here you can see the cumulative volume of created cake. You can see the height. You can also see the rate of production, and also 30 days back. You can look at the machine, since we have the speed of the belt, we have the height, we have the measurements. Is it inactive? Is it disconnected? Or is it producing? So basically, that was my slideshow. And if we now look at a quick example here in real time, then you see Atosis here to the left. You can then quickly search for any device using an IP range. You go into, for example, the Adam device that I discussed that ingested analog data. Then we have all the channels here, and we can see them in real time. We can set what kind of range they are. Is it milliampere or volt, and some other values. And for example, I don't know. Yes, you can see the machine behind me. If I now, for example, just move one sensor a little bit, you will instantly see that it will react at the edge device, and also in this simple dashboard that I've created in WisePass. And as I mentioned before, that data first is sent to the data hub in WisePass. So here you see all the channels for this Adam device. But you can also, of course, jump into an IO-Link master, the one we see at the top here. And then you get other data. You instantly get the picture of the sensor. You see what channels it's producing data on. So this is a distance sensor, for example. This is an encoder. So that's how easy it is. And you can just unplug and plug in new sensors, it doesn't matter. If it's a different sensor, doesn't matter. The point is that that's what Atosis should take care of in combination with Advantech hardware and software when we are now integrating with WisePass. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you very much, Nicholas. And this is again a very nice example what we see today of sustainability, what technology can do, and to help this kind of manufacturers really getting digital, understand their production and processes around that. Really, thanks for sharing that. Of course, give the questions outside, but also afterwards, Nicholas and his company, easy to reach out or come to me to come here. So now we get into a point of, let's say, questions, answers, or anything is there. Julie,
Hi, Rick.
do you have anything?
Hi, everyone. This is Julie from the marketing team who's been busy chatting with you. We do have a few questions, Rick, as always. And please, there is still lots of time if you'd like to put questions into the live questions tab. So to kick off with, can Advantech rebrand the products? And if so, how does that work?
That's an interesting question. I think I want to pass this to Marco. Marco, can you help us out here in this question?
More than welcome, Rick. Let me say that, of course, this is one of the strategy in the market that we are running. So we are able to rebrand the product without any problem. We have knowledge and we have expertise around it. So today with Jim, we were discussing about technology, innovative technology that we're already applying. On the other hand, there is also project management, certification management, documentation management, everything that we are used to do. So the answer is yes, we need just to have a deep talk, but it is something we are doing weekly based.
Cool. Thanks, Marco. So question number 2, is it possible network server on an edge computer, or has it inbuilt network server like WISE 6610? Very specific.
A really specific one. I don't know if I get the whole question, but I guess this is also again for you, Marco.
I believe the right one is Yuan to answer to this one, because he's the expert about the LoRaWAN. So I would like to involve him. Yuan, are you able to take it?
Hello, Rick?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, Yuan.
Can you mention the question again?
Yeah, sure. You can actually see it, Ewan, in the live questions, if that helps. But the question is it possible to install network server on edge computer? Or has it inbuilt network server like a WISE 6610?
I think for the LoRaWAN network server, it is possible to install the network server inside edge computers. And currently, the offering we have is LoRaWAN gateway, which is the WISE 6610. It also have inbuilt network server. However, the WISE 6610 can also work with the network server, which is built inside edge computers. So I think we are also working on with our eco partners to build up the network server inside UNO to provide a more high computing power network server to work with a much more larger scale of LoRaWAN network.
Thanks for that.
Okay, next one. Are the Advantech products already IO link ready?
Well, our expert Daniel, I think he's not there.
Actually, he did actually sneakily answer the question already.
I'm here. Sorry, Rick.
Yeah. Daniel.
Goody. I didn't saw your.
Yeah, I'm very happy that and not share with you this information because the products are still under developing. But as next year, we are very exciting to launch our ATOM 200 series. We have IO-Link Master and also have IO-Link IOs based on the IP67 form factor.
Okay, so we will get a full new product line to be IO-Link compatible.
Yeah.
Great, great to hear. Thanks for that, Daniel.
Great question, Vincent. Thank you. Another one for you. What are the biggest challenges for Advantech sustainable solutions now?
The biggest champions.
Challenges.
Well, challenges, yeah. Jim, I'd like to pass this one to you.
Very good question, and to be honest, and a very hot topic. You see that the last year, especially, the focus is completely on CO2 footprint, everything related to sustainability. This is also causing challenges because we must change as people. We must change our behaviors. So we are applying a lot of projects in that direction, also driven by countries and of course by what's happening in the world. This is also causing that there's a huge need for people doing all these projects, people understanding all these technologies we are discussing today, like AI, like the collaboration in an eco model, what Advantech is building up, to address all those challenges, all those individual questions and challenges that people are facing. So I think that's the biggest challenge, the resources to address all those, let's call it opportunities, but also let's call it challenges.
Perfect. Okay. We're at the end of our questions right now. So if anybody, there is still a little bit of time if you'd like to just quickly type any in there. Rick, I know you've got some closing statements to make, so I'll hand back to you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes,
of course, again, I want to highlight, please help us fill in the survey. Let's try to plant as many trees we can all together to make this world a little bit more greener together with us. To sum up again for today, the sustainable automation solution, the challenges we see in the market, the way moving forward as Advantech and his partners on that sense. So thanks Jim and Marco to reach out to give the insight here, what we try to do in a live 3-day sessions, but now in a very short period gives hopefully a little bit of an insight of where we are moving into and what is our next generation of technologies coming up.